Okay, let's jump right in. Today we're doing a deep dive trying to cut through some of the noise from a single day. That's June 8th, 2025. We've got your debrief here, notes and sources.
Right, and our goal here is pretty straightforward. Dig into this material, pull out the key events, the important bits from the U.S. and around the world on that specific day.
Basically trying to give you a quick, solid overview of what was going down.
Exactly. And looking through this, it was definitely a busy day.
For sure. A real mix. You've got significant tensions here in the U.S., some big international shifts, plus some unexpected stuff like accidents and even major sports wins.
It really highlights how things connect, doesn't it? Global events, domestic stuff. It's rarely just, one isolated incident.
Absolutely. So let's start here at home, because things seem pretty tense, especially out in Los Angeles, based on these notes.
Yeah, the sources detail protests that seem to escalate, clashes reported between demonstrators and immigration agents.
And after 2 days of that, the president ordered, 2,000 National Guard troops deployed?
Correct. Citing a law that's, not often used. The framing was that the demonstrations were a form of rebellion.
And the reports mentioned things like objects being thrown, but also pepper spray, flashbangs from officers.
Which, looking at the material, it does make you think about the scale of that response compared to the reported actions. It's a significant move.
Creates a whole dynamic on the ground. Okay, also stateside, these sources flag some worrying aviation incidents from the 8th.
Right. A small Cessna crashed off San Diego. 6 people reported missing in that one.
And then, tragically, different circumstances, but still aviation, a skydiving plane in Tennessee.
Yeah, crashed during takeoff near Nashville. 20 people on board, reports of multiple injuries, some critical. Just awful.
2 very different types of flights, but both happening on the same day, reminding you of the risks.
Mm-hmm. And one more domestic item from your notes, a federal judge's decision.
Ah, yes, declining to block the president from removing 3 board members from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Which seems to fit into that ongoing, push and pull regarding public media funding and administration priorities.
So you see these friction points domestically. Now, let's pivot internationally, because Gaza...
Sure.
The situation there remains incredibly complex.
Very. And the sources we have here really underscore the challenge of just getting a clear picture. Reports came in of at least 12 Palestinians killed, many more injured near aid sites.
But then you have this direct contrast.
Exactly. The Israeli military statement included here says they fired warning shots only at people who approached their forces and ignored warnings. And crucially, they deny their fire caused any casualties.
So right there, you have 2 starkly different accounts of the same event.
It really forces you, the listener, to think hard about information sources, especially in active conflict zones. Verifying facts becomes incredibly difficult.
Yeah, discerning truth in real time is tough.
Okay, moving over to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. What are the sources saying there for June 8th? Seems like continued fighting. Russian forces reportedly reached an administrative border, pushing into an oblast Russia hasn't formally annexed.
Dnipropetrovsk Oblast.
Correct. And reports also of Ukraine striking back, hitting a chemical plant inside Russia in Tula Oblast.
But beyond the battlefield movements.
Well, there are these other signals coming from Moscow, according to some analysts cited here, continued accusations about Ukraine and repatriating soldiers' bodies.
Which some see as an attempt to undermine Ukraine internationally.
That's one interpretation, yeah. And perhaps more significantly, Russian officials seem to be laying the groundwork, potentially, to withdraw from some international arms control treaties.
That feels like a big deal. Pulling out of treaties.
It definitely suggests they might be preparing for, future shifts, maybe positioning for more confrontation, maybe something else. Depends how you read it and which sources you lean on.
Interesting. Okay, another diplomatic shift mentioned is in Africa.
Yes. Rwanda announcing its withdrawal from ECAS, the Economic Community of Central African States.
And the sources link this directly to a dispute over Rwanda's alleged role in the DRC conflict with the M23 rebels.
That's the connection made in the material, yeah. It's a long-running, complicated, regional issue boiling over again.
So amidst all this geopolitical tension and domestic news, life also just goes on, right? Including big moments in sports.
Absolutely. Got to mention Carlos Alcaraz winning his 2nd French Open title.
Defeating Jannik Sinner in what was apparently a pretty epic final.
Definitely historic. And over
No
in
doubt.
football or soccer, Portugal won the UEFA Nations League.
Beating Spain in a penalty shootout. So, moments of global competition happening right alongside everything else.
It paints that full picture of just one day, doesn't it?
Totally. So if we zoom back out, what we've seen just from this June 8th snapshot is, well, everything from local incidents blowing up in the national news
To international conflicts with completely opposing narratives, major diplomatic realignments happening, and global sports celebrations.
And our goal with this deep dive was just to sift through that, using your sources, to give you that quick, informed look at the key threads from that day.
Showing how interconnected it all is, even when the information itself feels really dense or, frankly, contradictory at times.
Hopefully understanding some of these details in context helps make a bit more sense of the wider world.
Yeah, it encourages you to look past the headlines, maybe question the first report you hear.
Which kind of leads us to a final thought for you to chew on after listening to all this.
When you encounter these contrasting accounts, like the reports from near the aid sites in Gaza, or you hear the stated reasons for big actions like using a specific law to deploy troops, or signals about leaving treaties.
How does that shape your understanding? Your understanding of what's true and maybe how power operates, just on any given day? Something to think about.